Am I the asshole? For leaving my sister-in-law's house without my wife? My wife and I are in our mid-30s and we've been together for 8 years, married for 4. We're both from California. My wife's only sibling is her sister who recently moved back to California from Virginia. My wife's sister, her husband, their 3 kids live about an hour away. It's easier for my wife to visit them than the other way around because they'd be lugging around 3 kids while we don't have any kids yet. So my wife typically visits them 1-2 times a week for weekday dinner or a shopping trip on the weekend. I join every 3 weeks or so for dinner. I have zero problem with my sister-in-law and her family. They're good people, and if anything, I'm glad my wife has her best friend so close by. So for context, my entire life I've always had really bad colds. Getting the flu? Annoying but not horrible, 410 levels of discomfort. COVID? My bout wasn't too bad, maybe 4.510. But my yearly cold? 8.510. My body just shuts down for 4-5 days. My wife and closest people in my life, siblings, parents, some lifelong friends have known about this, and everyone always thought I was the type to exaggerate about illness in general until I got the flu and COVID back-to-back years and hardly made a peep. They all expressed afterwards that they now realize how bad my colds are. The incident is this: yesterday my wife and I went to my sister-in-law's house for dinner. When we got there, the 3 kids all had colds. Coughing, runny noses, sore throats, fatigue, all of it. I immediately panicked internally and thought, damn it, here we go, and thought that I'd try my best to stay away from the kids. Then I hear my wife say something along the lines of, "Oh honey, I know you're sick, your mama has been telling me about it all week," to her niece. That really pissed me off. My wife knew the kids were sick and knows how horrible it is for me when I'm sick, but she didn't bother to tell me. I pulled her to the side for a second and she basically said, "Listen, just don't get near the kids. I didn't tell you because I knew you wouldn't come and it'd kill the vibe. Relax, I'm sure they're not contagious. Now enjoy the night," and walked away. It's not even the fact that the kids are sick, but the fact that she purposely didn't tell me and she was shutting me down. So I got the keys and left. I know my sister-in-law and her husband well enough to know they'd drop my wife back at home, but I was just seeing red and way too angry to have stayed. I woke up this morning and my wife is freaking pissed. My sister-in-law's husband is even more annoyed than my sister-in-law. He's saying I'm a pathetic person to leave my wife and take the car. Not the asshole. They could have rescheduled the dinner. Why they decided your health wasn't important is beyond me. Your wife deliberately decided that she was willing to risk you getting very sick just so you wouldn't stay home and kill the vibe. Well, that's easy for her to say, so fuck the vibe. Not the asshole. Not the asshole who invites people over when their kids are all sick? And your wife saying, "I'm sure they're not contagious." Like, how does she think they all got sick in the first place? Not the asshole. She lied by omission because you would kill the vibe? I wouldn't have gone home since she will probably catch it and give it to you. She lied, she refused to consider what this will do to you, and thought it was nothing. Is she always this disrespectful? Mom here. WTH invites guests over when you've got sick kids? And who is enough of a moron to go to a house with sick kids? And who's enough of an asshole to not tell your so that you're going to a house with sick kids, tell so it was no biggie, and claim the kids probably aren't contagious? The wife is worried about killing the vibe? Not the asshole. But your wife is. And WTH is she to be pissed? Not the asshole. She knows full well how colds affect you and she selfishly didn't tell you about the kids. She could have gone on her own. She should have. You need to have a serious talk with your wife. What she did was unforgivable. She knows how sick you get, she knew the children were all sick, and she still decided, for her own selfish reasons, to expose you to their germs. Not what you do to someone you love, and, if I were you, I'd be furious too. Not the asshole, As a married woman, I know my husband's take on being around sick people. It's a huge fuck no. I'm sure your wife knows how you feel, hence she's an asshole. If people are sick, you don't have people over to the if the guests don't have health issues, which Opie does. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Your sister-in-law's husband is one to talk. He is the pathetic person to invite people over for dinner when all 3 of his kids are sick. His kids might be precious to him but not to others who don't care to be exposed to those germ machines. Not contagious. Not contagious. Not contagious. I'm sorry, I can't get past that phrase that she said. Did she really say not contagious? Not the asshole solely because she knew and chose not to tell you. Nata, I find mind-blowing that not only your wife lied by omission to you, but your Sil and Bill decided to have a dinner party with their kids sick. They don't care about the health of their invites. Not the asshole. I don't give a shit if you usually sail through colds with nary a word. There's no excuse for knowingly spreading communicable illness when you can easily prevent it. Didn't we just spend 3 years teaching people how to do this? Christ on a cracker, this is basic shit. Not the asshole. But I'm pretty concerned at the fact that your wife seems dumber than a doornail and doesn't understand the fact that colds are contagious and the whole damn house is infiltrated because that shit is everywhere and in the air. Like, did she skip biology? Plus her family sucks. Who in their right mind has guests over when the majority of the household is snotting everywhere? That's disgusting. Sil's husband can have a damn seat and shut up because he's nasty. Nobody cares what he thinks. Oh, she's sure they're not contagious? Because they have magic colds that aren't communicable? Not the asshole. I'd have been furious too. Especially since she knew you wouldn't go if she told you ahead of time. Even if you didn't get horrible colds, you are not the asshole. Your wife 100 is. Your Bill is as well. And so is your Sil. I cancelled an event for tonight because I have a cold and probably am not contagious. It's not even a particularly bad one. But who wants a cold they duty need to get? Not the asshole. Your wife minimized this so you would come. She could have told you and either skipped it to not bring anything home or gone alone. Not the asshole. But in view of how your wife has acted, make sure to take a mask with you when you're leaving the house. Not sure if this'll be the consensus, but not the asshole. I'd be incensed lol. Not the asshole. She lied to you, and exposed you to something extremely unpleasant. Staying would have been constant stress when you worried if you were about to be a zombie for several days. I'd have left too. Especially if my wife knew about this and outright lied to get me to go. That's beyond the pale no matter how you look at it. Congrats on the shiny spine, good job bluing you yourself. Your wife earned her consequences of embarrassment and inconvenience by not being forthright with you. I hope she catches a cold. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. She earned it. She admitted to withholding that information to make sure you went, knowing you wouldn't want to be there. Not the asshole, but you married one. Not the asshole. Kill the vibe. Your wife acted so selfishly before she goes around getting pissed at you. Perhaps she can explain her complete disregard for your well-being in the deception, not something you would do to someone you care about. Not the asshole. Does this also mean she has been visiting sick kids and then coming home to you without mentioning it? If they weren't contagious when you saw them, they would have been within the week before. Not the asshole. Your wife was more concerned about the vibe than your health. You are absolutely not the asshole. Your wife is TA for her behavior and for using the phrase kill the vibe. Not the asshole. She decided that sneaky and deceiving is how she wanted to play. You did the same. Who the hell has people over with a house full of sick petri dishes? Not the asshole.